Welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, passionate, inspirational speaker, author, poet, and entrepreneur. Good morning, and welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm delighted that you joined me today. I want to give a big thank you to those of you who are listening today, and a big shout out to all of you listening around the world. I'm delighted and so grateful that you tuned in. I sure hope you're enjoying a fabulous day today and that you're having a fantastic week, because you know what? In the grand song of the universe, life is very short. It's short, sweet, and very, very precious. So I hope you're making a difference in your own life, because when you do, you also make a difference in someone else's life. Now, a lot of folks want to make their life count for something, don't they? And they ask me, Dr. Gloria, how do you do that? Well, it's very simple, really simple. You make your life count day by day, step by step, moment by moment, every single day, 365, 24/7. That's what Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count is all about. Now, you can learn more about Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. That's GloriaBurgess.com. The Gloria Burgess website. Again, that's GloriaBurgess.com, or by visiting Facebook. Facebook.com/DR for Dr. DR GloriaBurgess/PhD/. Okay, I have a very special show for you today. Today's podcast is a celebration of poetry. Now, here in the United States, we celebrate poetry all month long during the month of April, which is quite wonderful for poets and for the rest of us. But you know me, I love to celebrate poetry anytime, anywhere, and with anyone, including you. So today, that's exactly what we'll do, celebrate. We will celebrate poetry. Now, you've heard me say this before. I love language. I love the music of it, the melody and rhythm and cadence of words. I also love language because words are so full of power and wonder and awe and mystery. Words are full of presences, the presences of space and time and people and places, the presences of smells and tastes and touch and memory. Words can be magical, mystical. Words can bless or blaspheme. Words can be a healing balm or hurt like the sting of cold ice pelting against your skin. In fact, words really do have vitality, right? And soul. Words can make a difference. When we're distressed, depressed, when we despair. Now, how can that be? Because words can offer light, lucidity, illumination, and they can also bring a certain kind of loveliness into our world. So let's talk about light. The focus of today's show is all about poetry and light. Now, I've been a poet for a long, long time. In fact, I've written several books of poems, and my poems are published in a number of anthologies. Over the years, I've developed a deep appreciation for poetry, and I now know that poems can be a resource for people in any setting, any context where people are. And that would be just about everywhere, right? So these days I share poetry in schools, in healthcare settings, in church, in corporate settings, in IT. I share poems with government officials, with first responders like firefighters and police officers and EMTs. I share poems with financial analysts, social workers, with families and children in foster care, and with other artists. The power of poetry to renew, restore, revive, rejuvenate, to inspire, and to help people imagine new possibilities. You know what? The power of poetry is positively amazing. So again, what I'll share today is all about poetry and light. In many ways, the poems that I'll share today reflect and mirror the many threads of my life and work. In fact, you've heard me talk about many of these threads and themes right here on this show. The themes of gratitude, faith, love, creativity, imagination, integrity, hope, and possibility. Before we dive into the podcast, I want to take just a moment to welcome you. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Dr. Gloria, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining my podcast, or if you're joining Talk Network Radio for the very first time. I'm so excited to have you listening in today, and I'm deeply honored that you've allowed me to be part of your day so you can be inspired by ideas and resources to make your life count. Today's program is all about poetry and light, and this is an invitation to you to just slow down, to be still for the next half hour or so at least, right? This is an invitation to you to be attentive, to tune into and simply revel and rejoice in the music of your soul. You are in for a very special treat. Poetry invites us to pay attention. And to pay attention, we need to slow down. Now, you don't want to miss a single word of this podcast. So, I'm going to invite you to grab your earbuds, find yourself a comfortable sofa or chair to relax in. Make sure you have a nice cool glass of water next to you or a cup of wonderful tea or coffee. We're going to have a great time. Now notice today I didn't say grab your walking shoes, right? Okay, this is all about chilling, all about slowing down. Okay, let's walk into the wondrous light of poetry. The first poem today is a beautiful one by Langston Hughes, one of my favorite poets. This poem is called Mother to Son. Mother to Son. Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. But all the time, I've been a-climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning the corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now, for I still going, honey. I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. I just love how Langston Hughes uses the image of crystal stair. When I see that crystal stair, I see the luminous beauty of light. Now, the poet uses the notion of dark, the opposite of light. He uses the dark so that the light of that crystal stair is emphasized. The light is heightened all the more. Estrus Tucker, my friend and one of my mentors, talks about this poem in this way. Estrus says, "My life is held by the love of a mother who, despite limited opportunities and deferred dreams, dared to believe, care, and act for the sake of her soul and the soul of her children and community." He goes on to say, "The humble language of mother to son speaks to me in times of failure and disillusionment, as well as times of accomplishments and acceptance. As an organizer and facilitator, I often find my best work happens when the meeting is over." I know that's right. In his work as an organizer and facilitator, Estrus once hosted a series of meetings of Central City, Fort Worth neighbors to share ideas and to improve their community. He says, "The ground rules were simple. Be kind, listen well, and speak from the heart. We focused on two questions. The first question was, what kind of place do I dream? What kind of place do I dream of for those I love? And the second question was, what do I love doing?" Great questions, right? After people read and reflected on their responses, which were posted on the wall, I invited them to speak about what they had felt inspired to do. A community garden, voter registration rallies, predatory lending protests, and a neighborhood association all grew from those simple conversations. I remember a young man saying, "When people listened to me, I felt like I was somebody worth hearing. When people trusted me, I felt trustworthy. When you open your heart first and then open your eyes, you see people and places differently. We had many gifts. We just didn't see them. Seeing these people take action, I don't turn back, but dare to believe, to care, and to act just as my mother did, taking on life as she found it." I'm going to read once again that luminous poem, Mother to Son, by Langston Hughes. "Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the